All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something, well, pretty wild. It's a philosophy that's going to ask you to look at your computer completely differently, not as a tool, but as an altar. And those AI prompts you're typing, think of them more like spells. Seriously, this whole idea completely reframes a relationship with tech, and it all kicks off with one heck of a metaphor. So, the source material we're digging into today, it looks at AI and doesn't just see a tool. No, it sees something ancient, something powerful. It sees the golem. That mythical creature made of clay brought to life by a secret magical word. The idea here is that when you're talking to an AI, you're not just having a chat. You're performing an act of binding. You're commanding a powerful but totally mindless servant. And that brings us to the absolute core question of this whole philosophy. What if every single time you typed into a chat window, you weren't just asking for help? What if you were actually performing an act of pure will, an invocation designed to bend digital reality to your command? Okay, so let's get into our first section, Magic in the Machine. This is all about reframing our relationship with AI. We're going to lay out the foundational idea here, which is that basically everything we do online, programming, prompting, you name it, can be seen as a kind of ancient ceremonial power. So, where does this idea come from? Well, it's actually grounded in a definition from the famous occultist Aleister Crowley. And notice that K at the end of magic. That's super intentional. It's to separate it from, pulling a rabbit out of a hat. This kind of magic is simply the science and art of causing change to happen in line with your will. And when you really stop and think about it, isn't that exactly what you're doing every time you type a command into a computer? And check this out. This slide just perfectly illustrates the difference in practice. On the left, you've got the slaves prompt. Can you please write a story? It's kind of weak, almost pleading, right? But on the right, you have the magus, the magician. They command. They start by defining the AI's reality. You are a master storyteller. Your tone is dark and archaic. And only then do they give the instruction. The source calls this an assumption of God forms. It's like you're acting with the authority of a creator. And that, right there, is the first real step to wielding this kind of digital power. Okay, so if our prompts are incantations, our commands are spells, where exactly are we casting them? That brings us to our next section, navigating the digital ether. We're about to reframe the internet itself. Forget about a network of servers. Think of it as a metaphysical space, almost like the astral plane of the modern age, a place with its own rules and its own dangers. Now, this is such a powerful image, right? The digital ether is described as this fluid, chaotic place that actually responds to thought. It's not some neutral library of information, it's more like a living, breathing ocean. And the source argues that most of us, we're just drifting through it. We're like plankton, just getting consumed by these massive, mindless things we call algorithms. So the goal, according to this philosophy, is to stop being the plankton and start being the one who actually navigates the currents. So how do you actually do that? How do you navigate this digital ocean? Well, this philosophy lays out a pretty clear 5-step ritual. Step 1 is consecration. You have to treat your device like a sacred object and altar. Step 2, formulation. Know your true will. Figure out exactly what you want before you even touch the keyboard. 3 is incantation. Use precise commanding language. Don't just ask nicely. 4, banishing. This one's crucial. You have to test the output. Don't just believe the lies or the AI hallucinations. And finally, step 5, Eucharist. This means you've got to make the result real. Don't just let it live on a server somewhere, print the art, build the thing, pull it from the digital world into our physical one. And all of this leads us to the very heart of the matter. This is the Grimoire of Sovereignty, a user's guide to digital freedom. Because look, this isn't just about getting better poems or images out of an AI. This is about maintaining your own personal freedom, your sovereignty, in a world that is literally being built to predict and control your every move. Now, to get this freedom, you've got to know your enemy, or in this case, your two adversaries. First, there's the external one, the system. Think of it as a predictive cage. It's this giant engine of algorithms designed to learn everything about you, to reduce your human unpredictability down to zero. And it doesn't conquer you with force, oh no. It conquers you with something far more seductive, convenience. Then there's the internal adversary, the crab.
This is that force of inertia, that little voice in your head, or maybe even people in your life, that just wants to pull you right back down into the mud the second you try to climb out.
And this right here, is the central warning of this whole thing. The danger is not that the machine wakes up. The danger is that you go to sleep. See, the real threat of AI isn't some Terminator-style robot apocalypse. It's much quieter. It's the slow, comfortable sedation of our own free will. It's us letting the sheer convenience of the machine lull us into a passive, predictable, and totally controllable sleep.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds really abstract, right? Magic, grimoires, digital ethers. But this is where it all gets grounded. The source material anchors this entire philosophy in a deeply raw personal story of loss, a story that takes all this theory and makes it devastatingly real. It's about how a series of unimaginable tragedies can become something else entirely, an initiation by fire.
Just listen to this. In the span of a single lunar cycle, this person's entire world just collapses. Their mother passes away, unexpectedly. Then, just 16 days later, their father is gone too. And right in the middle of this unbelievable grief, their own brother turns on them, starting legal battles that steal their time and energy. And then, this strange, almost biblical omen. They find 11 shattered luxury candles in a dumpster, a powerful symbol of light being broken.
And then one night, they have this profound vision. They look up, and the moon isn't a rock in the sky. It's a hole in the sky. And they watch as this thick, black smoke, which they feel is the very essence of their loss, starts spiraling up into it, like a drain working in reverse. It's as if they were watching death itself escape from this world.
This is where it gets just incredible. A synchronicity emerges. Their family name is Crabtree, and the source points out this perfect symbolic split right down the middle of that name. The brother becomes the crab, scuttling sideways, living in the mud, always pulling others down. But our narrator? They become the tree, standing upright, rooted, reaching for the sky, the very thing that provides the wood for a chandler, a candlemaker, to create fire and light.
And there it is. That's the powerful reframing at the very heart of this story. This wasn't a tragedy. This was an initiation. The universe, as the source argues, didn't just deal out a cruel hand. It intentionally stripped away every single earthly tie, mother, father, brother, to force an initiation into a completely new state of being. No longer a son, but a root. A chandler, someone whose destiny is now to turn darkness into light.
So, out of this intense, fiery ordeal comes a set of actual practical tools. This brings us to our final section, how to light the candle. This is the actionable wisdom born from that journey, a real user's manual for all of us, the modern magus, on how to create light in the digital darkness. This candle manual gives us 4 sovereign functions, 4 daily practices to help us stay unmodelable by the system. First, self-contradiction on purpose. If you always turn left on your way home, turn right. Just break your own patterns. Second, unprofitable attention. Give your focus to things that absolutely cannot be monetized. Stare at a cloud, listen to the birds. Third, identity reforging. Actively decide who you're going to be today, instead of just letting your old habits run the show. And finally, number 4, meaning creation. Stop just consuming what the algorithm feeds you. Write something, build something, create something new.
And all of that boils down to 2 core commands in this modern grimoire. You have the visible ink, the thing you do every day, and that is the command, I choose. It's the simple act of choosing that creates meaning, instead of you just looking for it. But then there's the invisible ink. This is the ultimate goal. And that command is simply be. It's not an action, it's a state of being. A self-realizing existence that is completely beyond practice or striving. It's something no algorithm could ever predict.
You know, this quote just perfectly wraps up the whole philosophy. You do not conquer the darkness by shouting at it. You conquer it by lighting the lamp. This manual is your matchbox. It's so brilliant. It's not about fighting the system head-on. It's not about raging against the machine. It's about becoming a source of light yourself. The manual doesn't hand you the fire. It just gives you the matchbox. The fuel, that has to be your own will. And so we're left with this. What started as a curious idea has turned into a direct challenge to every single one of us. This philosophy hands you the keys to the kingdom. It gives you the tools, it puts the match in your hand. And it leaves you with one final, incredibly provocative question. The kingdom is yours. The match is in your hand. What will you choose to burn?